Hello everyone, Alec Jensen here to talk about the Federal Trade Commission, also known as the FTC. First of all, I'll go over its mission statement just to give you a quick peek at what it does. It is to prevent business practices that are anti-competitive or deceptive or unfair to consumers, to enhance informed consumer choice and public understanding of the competitive process, and to accomplish this without unduly burdening legitimate business activity. So a little bit of the history is it was signed into existence on September 26, 1914 by President Woodrow Wilson. It was to take major steps against trust and monopolies. Basically, trust and monopolies are huge corporations that control a large part of the sector, and then they don't allow competitors to come in, so they can control pricing and control a lot of things that we don't want them to. And there are 5 members of this bureau, picked by the President and then okayed by the Senate. So what are they charged to enforce? The 2 major things that shape the Federal Trade Commission are the Clayton Antitrust Act of 1914, put into action just about 2 weeks after the FTC was actually made. So what this does is defends against 4 things. Price discrimination, meaning you charge more to some people based on race or how much they can afford, and other things like that. Seller lockout, meaning you pick who you buy from, only based on you like them more, not based on they have better products or the products are less expensive. And then mergers and acquisitions. This is to make sure that 2 businesses don't come together and then they again own more than they should of the sector, meaning the creation of a monopoly. And then one that you don't hear very much is the CEO of 2 competitors, meaning you can't be a CEO of, let's say, Microsoft and Apple. That way you would have too much power and you can control how much you pay for certain things. The next thing they charge to enforce are unions. This is also known as Section 6 and has multiple laws that back it. And so I can't pin down one specifically because they're always changing and getting new names and new rulings. But the basic idea is the right to protest, which unions give you. And the big one they do, that I'll touch on later, is the right to sue. They back you, give you power against big businesses. Next, we'll talk about kind of the makeup of it. There's actually 3 bureaus behind the FTC. The 3 of them are Bureau of Consumer Protection, Bureau of Competition, and Bureau of Economics. Basically, these just lighten the load of the FTC since they deal with so many things. Every business has to go through the FTC, and having these 3 helps sort things out easier. You can go directly to one of them with your problems, and it just makes everything more simpler and faster. Everyday interactions that a business could have with the FTC, or does have, is rules and guidelines. You must follow and keep up to date with all the rules from the FTC. Inspections. Every business selling an item, buying an item, has to go through inspections yearly, 5 years, 10 years, whatever your contract is with the FTC. This is just to make sure that you're not doing those 4 things that the Clayton Act talks about: discrimination, having a CEO of 2 businesses, and so on and so forth. And then unions. If you're part of a union, you go through the FTC for a lot of things. And again, this just gives you power and backing. So punishment that the FTC can hand out, they actually have quite a bit of power. The main goal is to give the power to the plaintiff. You're thinking of a small employee who wants to sue a big company of like Apple or Microsoft. They probably don't have much money behind them, as much as Microsoft can, to afford the big lawyers and stuff. So the FTC puts the money and has the status for the backing and pushes it into the court. And then they give also the power to sue up to 3 times the damages. This is not only to give the plaintiff a better result, but to give a business the thought of, I could get sued for 3 times as much. I don't want to go into any bad businesses or do anything that the FTC would not approve. The FTC also only covers civil cases and nothing else. So current events that the FTC has been involved in, a big one is the Time Warner buyout / merger. It's been around since 2000, but currently it's still going on. Dish Network got denied just the beginning of this year to buy out Time Warner. The FTC thought that Time Warner being a cable company and Dish Network being a cable company, this could be too big of a monopoly for them, and they could control pricing, control what TV shows could be on, and everything else. And then right now Comcast just abandoned the deal because the FTC put too many conditions for the merger on them. This conditions were no exclusion deal, which means they can't ever sign a deal with another cable company for, let's say, an exclusive channel, exclusive celebrity, which really would hurt Comcast in the end. And then they had to open their ISP information, which was more than they wanted to do, seeing what data people watch, how much people watch it, and stuff like that, how much money they make. They just didn't want to give out, so it was just too many conditions for the FTC to buy out Time Warner. And then that's all I have for you, so thank you very much for listening. Hope you learned a little bit about the FTC. It's a pretty big part of what goes on in everyday life, so thank you.